It is the fourth model of the Rockman Battle Network collaboration introduced in 2022. It is RME03 Sword Blues, with a kit of Charge Drain, Tsugijiri, Charge Guard, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Auto Charge, which passively fills Metaforce Gauge every turn for every action completed. Now, with the 2022 rerun of the Rockman.exe collaboration, we got not one, not two, but four brand new models, and Sword Blues here is the first of them, packing not one as well, but two brand new skills going forward to introduce to the world of Meta.S. Head of Charge Drain is a skill that we've seen before, but simply put, and when used, when attacking an opponent, it will steal a small amount of their charge gauge from their Metaforce gauge, as well as fill Sword Blue's own gauge with what he stole, which when fully capped is about 15% or so if math is accurate. Right Arm of Tsugijiri is a brand new skill being introduced that, when used, if you attack a foe while in cooldown phase, you get a ×3 damage bonus, which means this will be very, very good as very good for punish damage, for those folks that you can't outrun, such as say in EX trials with overclocked metals, or even just as a way to purposely lag behind on on purpose, just so you can pack on some extra punish damage, even if the attack itself does not come with pierce damage. Left Arm of Charge Guard is a brand new skill as well as a defense skill, and simply explained, if you are using it at 100% Metaforce charge, you will gain an additional 50% damage reduction when tanking incoming blows for himself or for allies. In addition, of course, to whatever your legs resist would be for your shoot and your melee, which means right from start, it makes it very clear that Sword Blues in this case is going to be very good either for punish damage, Metaforce stalling, or in this case, very high-end damage reduction once he does have that full gauge. His stats across the board are actually really, really nice too, and I'm moderately impressed with, even for an interruption-based skill kit like what he has, he is packing some very nice numbers under the hood. With a head HP of about 3450, right arm of about 2900, which is just a little bit squishy in some cases, but not enough to fully count him out either. But then a left arm on that shield of almost 4900 HP is very, very good too. Leg HP of about 3249 as well is still in that nice little sweet spot of where you'd want to be. Leg stats themselves are also very, very good too, with a heavy limit of 1 and a mobility of 887, which is that very higher end sweet spot of where you want bipeds to be at base level. A melee resist of 1407 and a shoot resist of 1094 are very good, which means at base, Sword Blues is going to have some pretty solid damage reduction by himself before anything else comes into play, especially when it comes to incoming melee damage. An evade of 1124 is really, really nice too, as this does mean that if Sword Blues is not guarding attacks, he is absolutely going to be dodging or grazing them outright. As a pure set score, I do honestly have to rate Sword Blues a pretty solid 7.5 out of 10. Even though he doesn't come packing a lot of very dangerous skills under his belt, he is primarily interruption based or punish based between Charge Drain and Tsugijiri in this case, but he honestly does use it very well, and his kit is very well rounded to the point it actually does have some very good synergy together. Charge Drain and the Auto Charge leg ability do honestly work very well together as a way to kind of fill his Metaforce gauge over time very quickly, so that he can resort to using Charge Guard and alternate from a Punisher role with Tsugijiri to using Charge Guard and serving as that high-end damage reduction and that shield that other allies can hide behind or use. As mixed parts, I do have to rate him much higher at an 8.5 out of 10, given that even though Tsugijiri is still a very nasty skill to use, it is, it is a little bit of a niche skill and very conditional skill in this case, as you only get that damage bonus if you are using it when your foe is in cooldown, which means some timing is involved and required in order for that skill to work. Charge Drain is kind of okay to use depending on the situation. Charge Guard is going to be very interesting to use, as it actually gives the chance for folks that use, say, full charge for their nukers to kind of turn around and use it for another role outside of just raw damage, which is rather interesting. And then, of course, Auto Charge is very nice. You really can't ever go wrong with it anywhere, especially on anyone that is Metaforce reliant or requires that charge to use for the extra damage bonuses that they may come packing with.